Hey, it's James, Parents' Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. If you're on my Instagram, click that link in the bio. If you're on YouTube, go down in the description below and click on the link to get on my flow page and check that section that says must see for dads. And check out everything that's in there. I say must see because it's really a must see. Dads really need that information. Mothers need some of it. And all kinds of other information on there, including a link to my store and contact information, how to contact me and get an appointment. So here's some stuff about questions to ask going into a deposition or in a deposition or at trial. If you still got an attorney, the only thing an attorney is good for is doing a deposition and doing it the right way. You want to roll the dice with them at trial, then they should ask these questions, or I would ask these questions if I'm going into trial. This is really what I'm saying here. You know, at trial, you have to establish some baseline things, and you want to get the other side to agree to some foundational stuff. That's why when you see in the movies or on TV, they'll say, Objection Foundation. The person says, oh yeah, I saw the defendant over there at Burger King stabbing the person. Objection Foundation. They haven't even laid the foundation of where they were that night. You know, trial is a clean slate. Nobody knows anything about anything until it's presented at trial the proper way and exhibits are authenticated. A lot of people think they can walk into trial and present stuff like they do in a motion hearing. You can't. So you're starting from scratch. It's a black hole. That's why you see in the movies or on TV or in an actual trial that you might be seeing live, you see that they'll ask, like, I'd like to call, William Jones to the stand. They put him on the stand and they say, state your name for the record, William Jones. Well, why would they say that? They just called him to the stand and identified him. That person has to identify who they are and tell their story. They're a witness. You can't lead the witness and tell them what they're saying, thinking, who they are. They have to identify with all that stuff. And if they do it wrong or if they lie, then on cross-examination, you destroy them. So, when you're dealing with, a witness on the stand, you want to start with some foundational stuff because you have to start at the foundation anyway. So, when you're dealing with the parenting plan, and really this is basic elementary stuff, why your attorneys don't do it, I don't know. Well, I do know they're a bunch of sissy little cowards and they don't want to say anything confrontational and they're really stupid. They're just mostly like prissy little bougie yuppie kids who grew up with a golden spoon in their mouth and mommy put them through law school and here they are. And they might be married themselves, but they got a white picket fence, nothing went wrong. They don't understand how you could be in a situation where you got accused of domestic violence and you're abusive and you're fighting with a wife. Why can't you guys just get along? They look down upon you, so they don't really care either. But baseline, I'm going into court. If I'm fighting over custody or visitation or 50-50, whatever, I'm saying, and the mother, let's say the mother is, like in my case, my baby's mom was not letting me see the kid. Then she let me see the kid a couple hours, 2 or 3 times a week when she got an attorney, because she was looking really bad by not letting me see the kid at all. So he probably advised her to do that. So I would go into trial and say this. I would start off. And you start off with basic fundamental stuff. First of all, I start off with, can you state your name for the record? If the other attorney hasn't done it and they haven't done their case in chief first, or they're presented their case, and I have to go first because I'm the petitioner, I'm the one trying to modify whatever, I'm going to ask the basic foundational questions and get stuff on the record like name, address, phone number, and email address. Get her to confess that so that if I present emails later or phone records, she can't say, well, I don't recognize those because she just said what her phone number and email address were earlier in the trial. But your stupid, dumbass attorney doesn't think of stuff like that any third grader can think of if they have any common sense. So they don't ask that stuff, so it's a struggle to get emails admitted because you got to prove that those were her emails and you never got to confess what her email address is. Anyway, I could go on and on about how stupid attorneys are, but specifically dealing with the parenting plan, I could hear it now. People are saying, get to the point, get to the point. You can't wait a few minutes for golden information that'll help you win your kids back. Then you're a punk, lazy, shiftless little biatch. I have people on TikTok who say that sometimes too. 3-minute video. They're like, oh, you take too long. You can't wait 2.5 minutes if I don't get to the point till then. I'm giving you golden information along the way. You can't wait 3 minutes, but you'll pay your attorney $400 an hour to lose for you over and over again. You say, oh, I'm frustrated with my gender? We're a bunch of lazy, coward, shiftless bums who are afraid to stand up for ourselves. We'll stand up for our car if somebody stole it. We'll stand up for our property if somebody broke into it. We'll stand up for, to a mechanic who rips us off and gives us a wrong estimate or works on something that's still broke. But we won't do that when it comes to our kids. We need to wake the hell up and act like soldiers because we're in a war. And stop whining. If you're in the military, you're going to whine and cry because your drill sergeant did a speech for 5 minutes and didn't teach you how to work on your rifle for 5 minutes. You're kind of at their mercy. I mean, you're not at my mercy right now, but I'm somebody who won over and over in court, and I'm giving you a video for free. And there's still people who whine and complain about, oh, you're taking too long to get to the point. Well, just skip through it then. Use that mouse. Since you're such a lazy ass, use that mouse and click through and try and get to it faster since you're so impatient and your kids aren't worth sitting through a lesson and learning something. That just shows me your kids aren't worth it when people make comments like that, or they're feminists who jump in and just want to talk stupid. So, here we go. And maybe I'll put the time mark here for all the lazy bum cowards who want a quickie answer. If you want a quickie answer also, you're not ready for this fight. You're about to go to war over your kids, and it may last 1, 2, 3 years. And you want a quickie answer? You just want it over and done with. You want mommy to serve you up a quickie answer like she served you breakfast in bed on Saturday when you slept in. Grow your ass up. You had kids. Man up and go rescue your kids. You're Superman. You're the only one who could rescue them from the mom, the corrupt court system and stuff. You do it. I'm giving you tools to do it. I'm giving you 100 times the information that I had when I got it. That's why I can talk like this, because I was a warehouse worker who flunked out of college, and I figured all this stuff out on my own. I had one mentor who told me about 1% of the information I'm telling you. And thank God that he did what he did, or else I wouldn't even known I could represent myself. But after that, it was all me. And you guys are whining and crying that I'm taking 10 minutes to get you information that nobody else in the world is going to give you. What if you had to wait 10 minutes to find out where a pot of gold is? What if I had a map to a pot of gold and I crumpled it up and I threw it over there and said, now fetch? Would you care about your feelings and me disrespecting you and you feeling bad? Or would you go get that and get the pot of gold that's worth about $1 million because it's 15 pounds or whatever it is, 300,000 or, it's 2,000 an ounce. Like, we are some soft, little wimpy, little sissy cowards. Don't want to fight. Want somebody else to do it. Pay an attorney. The attorney rips us off. We don't use common sense, God gave a monkey, and say, this attorney stuff doesn't work. Hire another attorney, hire another attorney, hire another attorney. Watch James's videos for 3 months. Oh, he knows what he's talking about. Watch him for another 3 months. Don't do anything that James says. Go to trial, get royally screwed, and say, James, I need a consult. Or, James, I have a hearing coming up. I'll need a consult after my hearing. Why would you get a consult after your hearing that decides your welfare with your kids? Why would you get ready for the hearing? Why would you study for the test after the final exam? So, here we go. Questions I would ask at trial or deposition. When I'm getting into the parenting plan stuff, I'll start with, number one, do you think, and basic fundamental stuff, do you think parents are important in kids' lives? Number two, do you think both parents are equally important to a child? Because remember, you're fighting over which parent should have custody, how much time, and all this other stuff. This is a basic question my sister with Down syndrome can come up with, and I've never seen an attorney ask this before. Maybe they have, but I haven't seen it yet. Do you think both parents are equally important to the child? If she says yes, like she probably will. If she says no, you can take her down a path and make her look stupid. How are both parents not equally important? Where do you get that from? Where's the science? Where's the data? Remember that question I keep posting that you guys should ask all the time? Where do you get that from? And then she says yes. Say, okay, do you think both equally important parents should have equal time with the kids? Oh, no. Why not? Well, one person has to have custody. Why? Where do you get that from? That's what the courts always do. Just because the courts always do it doesn't mean that that's right. You just said parents are equally important. Why aren't they Why shouldn't children have equal time with something equally important? Do you give your kids food and water, or just water? Do you give your kids shelter and clothing, or just clothing? Like things that are equally important, don't you give them both? Why would you not want to give your kids an equally important father equal time? Okay, do you want your children to have a healthy relationship with both parents? She has to say yes. And say, okay, what's your concerns about the parenting skills of the other parent? Or what's wrong with, oh, they're violent, they got anger problems, they got this and that. Okay, where do you get that from? What kind of psychological data says that? If he has an anger problem, where does it, how do you decide when anger is good or bad? Well, she says, well, anger is always bad. Okay, so if your daughter gets raped by somebody and you're angry about it, is that anger bad or is that good anger? Is that righteous anger or is that bad anger? Okay, so there's obviously good anger over here and there's bad anger that caused you to beat somebody up, kill, rape, or murder them. How do you cross the line, or where do you go where it becomes an anger problem? How do you know that's an anger management problem? Where are you getting that? What's your barometer or measure stick for? That's a great question for a guardian ad litem or any expert who says that you have an anger problem. Then I'll say, okay, if the father is an alcoholic, anger problem, domestic violence, child abuse, okay, what will it take for him to get better to your satisfaction, or for him to fix this problem? What would you need to see? She's not going to have an answer because she's not looking for an answer. All she's looking to do is attack, and she's lying. But if she comes up with an answer, okay, then that's the benchmark or the goalpost that you're shooting for. Okay, now that you want the father to do that, if he gets all that help and gets, clean and sober, or he gets his anger management issues settled, then what do you want him to have for custody or visitation? Oh, still every other weekend. Well, why wouldn't you want it to be equal? Well, so you think being an every other weekend visitor is a healthy relationship? You think 4 days a month, when the father lived with you guys were married, you were an intact family, that the children would be happy with 4 days a month visiting the father? The coach, the daycare, the teachers, the ballerina instructor, the karate instructor, your friends and family get to see the kids more than the father. Do you think that's right? You think why are all those things more important than the father? I'm still on basic legal 101 questions that a third grader or my sister with Down syndrome can come up and ask. And your stupid ass attorney that you're paying $400 an hour for still hasn't even thought of something like this. They didn't even offer to do a deposition. When I was at McKinley Irvin as a legal assistant at the largest family law only firm in Seattle, which makes it the biggest family law firm in the entire upper left corner of the United States, from Minnesota, from Northern California up Minnesota, all the way out, since it's the biggest city until you get to Minneapolis or San Francisco. When I was there, we'd have a team meeting. Then we talk about, okay, do a restraining order, motion for temporary orders, deposition, and get them in there in a couple weeks. Right from the jump at the beginning of the case, we talk about possibly doing a deposition in a case. Your attorney isn't even thinking about ever doing it. I've had attorneys say, oh, we don't want to do the deposition and show our cards. You're questioning the other side, you stupid moron. How are you showing your cards when you're getting them to give their answers before the trial? You're getting the answers before the test. And if you're showing your cards on what questions you're going to ask, you already got their answers. They can't change the story at the trial. You're trapping them right now. If you're showing your cards right now, you'll be showing your cards at trial. What the hell are you talking about? Some of these attorneys are just stupid, imbecilic morons. That their law degree isn't worth the paper it's written on. So then you say, if the father, or when and if the father gets all those things fixed, you said that you want a healthy relationship. Why wouldn't you want him to be equally involved? Well, he has these problems. I just said if he gets them fixed. Do you even have an end goal for when he addresses these issues? All they do is just throw out allegations, throw out stuff, and they just want to push the data away. They're not thinking long term for the welfare and health of the children. You see what I'm getting at? We're getting at the core of the issue. Instead, you want to go to court and just argue against her declaration, and you never get to cross-examine her, question her, put her on the stand, and you don't get to go, here's her allegations on the surface. You dig deep below it. That's how you destroy her credibility and say that she was lying and say, Your Honor, you can't do stuff based upon a lie. We just proved that she's lying. Stop this now. Stop this charade and mockery of the court system. She's mocking you and manipulating you. She's the ringleader, and you're an animal in the circus. She's saying jump, and you jump this high. Stop doing that. So there's some questions to start with.